From Joanne Graff Field in Tallahassee, it's the Unconquered Invitational as the number 3 Florida State Seminoles welcome the Hofstra Pride. Let's bring you in the broadcast booth. Sean Salisbury with the All-American Alex Powers. And Alex, it's hard to say a top 10 team has been surprising in the first month of the year, but Florida State certainly turned a lot of heads last week down in Clearwater.
Yeah, Florida State looks so good. They're so solid right now in all aspects of the game. Pitching, hitting, base running, defense, everything is so sound, and it's really fun to see as a Florida State fan.
And now one of just 6 unbeaten teams in softball heading into the last weekend of the month. Seeing where they stack up even with Alabama and Oklahoma speaks volumes.
Absolutely. OU and Alabama, highly competitive teams, but what's most impressive right now is the margin of victory. Right now, Florida State is hitting the ball so well against highly ranked, highly competitive teams.
5 top 25 wins, including 2 in the top 10, especially that thriller against UCLA on Sunday. But how about the emergence of what Florida State has done, and looking forward at today's starter, Danielle Watson has been incredible to start the year.
Danielle Watson spins the ball so well. She's going to keep it off the plate very effectively, keeps it out of the hitting zone where hitters generally tend to tee off on those pitches, and she spins the ball up, which is just such an off-balance type deal for these hitters.
Taking a look at our scouting report for the senior starter for the Seminoles. What stands out about her? What should these hitters expect on the Hofstra side?
Yeah, so Hofstra is going to be competitive. They're going to try to chip away and just utilize tools and getting base runners on. So Danielle Watson is a highly competitive pitcher who's going to go right at the hitter. So these Hofstra hitters just need to be ready to go from the very first pitch.
And softball fans certainly saw it in that first inning against UCLA. 3 strikeouts, all with the rise ball. You tell me, in trying to mix it up and maybe bring in some off speed, but I guess what you were saying pregame too, if she's hitting her spots, then let it rock.
Yeah, that pitch is hard to hit. Even when you're sitting in, I'm not somebody that loves to hit those high pitches given the length and the duration of my swing and stuff. And so anything up in the zone, you're going to see the majority of hitters have a tendency to really struggle.
Her numbers in that Clearwater Invitational were certainly special. And taking a look at Hofstra's lineup, Coach Clark, the first year in charge of her dugout. Let's see who stands out of a team that just lost 8-4 against Indiana about half an hour ago.
Hofstra is going to continue to battle throughout the remainder of this tournament this weekend, but right now the leadoff hitter, Chelsea Monto, so strong in the box, hitting .526. Junior leadership, but just upperclassmen level experience. And, you know, through COVID and everything else, we see these athletes having so much more experience in games under their belt, ready to compete.
Hofstra getting right back on the saddle. There's 3 teams in this invitational. All of them will play 2 today and tomorrow. Indiana looking on here at Joanne Graff Field as Watson steps into the circle. High on the first pitch here at 2:30, an absolutely gorgeous day for softball in Tallahassee. Some cloud coverage overhead, but temperatures sitting around the low 80s.
Indiana and Hofstra are both happy to get out of the cold.
Yeah, seriously, taking a look at some of those temperatures in the Midwest and Northeast. I know both of the coaches said they were looking forward to getting out on some hikes after they got into town yesterday. They're going to sit outside for some of their meals at the hotel, really soak in the sun. Watson quickly falls behind in the count.
And that's what we're going to see a little bit with Watson, just here and there. If that rise ball type pitch is not necessarily working at the moment, it's going to come in for balls just very frequently given the natural spin of where that pitch is going to go.
Strike right there to avoid the walk to Manto. Don't see Watson walk too many batters, just giving up 6 on the year. Bunt put down, but out of play.
And that's what Danielle Watson just needs to remember right now. She's such a good pitcher, just so much talent in that arm right there, and just she needs to continue to go right at these hitters as she kind of just approaches these at bats, knowing that the Hofstra lineup isn't necessarily as strong as what she's seen the last several games, and just put something in the zone and allow her defense to work behind her.
With a count full, ring him up. It's a strikeout for Danielle Watson.
Danielle Watson is going to come from behind so efficiently right there. 3 strikes in a row. A little bit of an upward spin on that pitch, which just causes Monto to swing right underneath it.
Just funny watching those first 3 strikeouts in the first inning against UCLA on Sunday, because same pitch, but they were all in different locations as Casey Collins steps into the box and fouls one back. I mean, does that just speak volumes on her improvement going into this season, where she is expected to start and throw a lot after being more of a reliever a season ago?
Absolutely. Coach referred to her as a complete game pitcher, which is something that's so new in this Florida State staff. You know, Coach generally pitches by staff and has several pitchers that are extremely well versed, and so for Danielle Watson to just be able to go the duration of a game and face these hitters 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 times depending on the game is going to be so important, and it's going to require her effectiveness to continue to stay extremely present.
She has continued to use the word proud to describe this transfer that has come in. Sat out 2020 due to transfer rules coming over from Louisville. Certainly wowed many that were in attendance for those 40 games in 4 days last weekend. That was Clearwater. This is Tallahassee. Collins behind in the count. Here's the 0-2. Just off the plate. Collins, one of 5 lefties in the lineup today for Hofstra, continues to stay alive. Another chopper down the line and foul for Collins.
See Watson utilizing the bottom part of the zone right there instead of something a little bit more up that these hitters could handle, which right now you're going to see on a ball like that. She's just trying to feed her defense on the left side. You have a very, very good defensive, group behind you right there with Cheryl and Blankenship at third base and shortstop, and Danielle just trying to feed the 2 of them.
Here comes the 7th pitch of the at-bat. Creates contact once more. Collins just went 1 for 2 with a run scored against the Hoosiers. Game that started at noon local time. Swing and a miss there. Back-to-back strikeouts to kick off the first inning for Watson.
Watson continuing to utilize the outer part of that plate, just something a little bit up spin right there, just up and out in the zone, and Collins can't quite get the barrel on the ball, but at the same time, that's really good pitching by Watson, just the ability to use all parts of the plate, inside, outside, up and down, and that's where she's going to find her most success.
And here comes one of Hofstra's most dangerous hitters. Megan Giordano steps up with 2 gone here in the top of the first. Got a 3-run home run late in that loss against Indiana. I know you were just saying it too. You almost prefer to go back-to-back instead of waiting that 2.5 hours before you can get out there and run around again.
No doubt, and Giordano is the only person in the lineup for Hofstra with a home run on the season, and so just utilizing that power, and with Watson throwing a little bit more up in the zone, you could see some balls fly out of the park here just a little bit more than somebody that tends to throw down.
Inside of the plate, count goes to 3-0. Saw Watson get out of trouble after Chelsea Manto got ahead in the count. The first batter in the game. This one upstairs as Watson surrenders just her 7th walk of the year.
Coming to the plate, number 42, Sam Ward.
It's kind of what we talked about a little bit with Watson, just really going right at these hitters. You know, even Giordano, who has the most power in the Hofstra lineup right now, is hitting 250 on the season, so no real threat in terms of average and consistency on that. So just go right at these hitters and make them beat you.
Runner on first with 2 outs. The first pitch to Sam Ward, a grounder hit to short, picked up, thrown over to first, and Blankenship takes care of business. Florida State puts 3 up, 3 down, and head to the bottom of the first in a scoreless game. Here we go, Julia Apsell into the circle now, warming up, making her 2nd start of the season. The sophomore coming in after not playing last year. Boy, nothing like trial by fire facing this Florida State lineup that has been on a roll to start the year.
No doubt, coming in hot with the FSU lineup here for Julia Apsell. She's only a sophomore, so really young arm in the circle, but really just given the fact, honestly, that she's a left-handed pitcher already makes her a little bit more successful in my book, because the ability, especially for a lefty-heavy lineup, to be able to hit a left-handed pitcher, it's not the easiest.
Taking a look at the Seminole lineup, a couple of tweaks as we've seen some players shift in and out after a busy weekend down in St. Pete's. Johnny Kerr leads it off. Who else sticks out in this lineup?
Yeah, Mac Leonard is going to be super strong in the 2-hole, a transfer into Florida State, hitting 500 on the year, and Devin Flaherty in the 5 spot. Still young, a junior right now, but again, just that experience overall. So you've got a really, really stout FSU lineup here.
And you can't forget Michaela Edenfield, who just a freshman has made jaws drop in her first handful of games, including that bomb she hit down in Clearwater.
I'm pretty sure the amount of times in Clearwater I stood up with my arms in the air flailing like a crazy person for Edenfield was pretty impressive. She is so strong. And to be so young, so composed, and just so athletic, I mean, she's going to be one of the best to wear the FSU uniform.
When you think of watching that power in action, I know you were a great hitter yourself, but maybe somebody like Jessie or yourself, how does that compare when you want to see that ball jump off the bat?
Yeah, I mean, just her physical presence alone is highly impressive. I mean, you look at her legs, you look at her arms, and she is so, so strong.
Up the middle off the glove of Apsell, but an incredible defensive play made by Giordano.
Now batting, number 13, Mac Leonard.
Giving up on the play, even after the deflection to get the first out.
Good piece of hitting by Kerr, something down in the zone, but phenomenal defense by Giordano right behind Apsell, makes a play going up the middle, and Kerr has so much speed.
This is Mac Leonard. You said a player who's maybe surprised you the most?
Yeah, I think just anybody that can come into the FSU lineup as a whole and start to make a difference immediately says a lot about you, because this team works so hard on culture, on team building, and everything else. And to be able to come in immediately and be a contributor says so much about Mac Leonard in particular and her teammates around her that have so willingly and so quickly accepted her in their circle.
Big swing and a miss there as Apsell gets the strike to make it 2-1.
That's a great swing on a 2-0 pitch. I think one of the best counts to hit in is 2-0, and you know that the pitcher's going to come right at you with something near the zone, and you just want to capitalize on it.
Now to 3-1 for Leonard, who is the Seminoles' leader in hits this year with 16.
And that's what you love to see, too, as somebody who just loves to watch softball, just so much calmness in the box.
A needed strike there for Apsell. Mentioned making her 2nd start, just her 3rd appearance. after facing Bethune-Cookman and Liberty last week down in Leesburg, Florida. And she got Leonard looking.
Comes to plate number 8, Kaylee Harding.
Absol just attacking the zone so aggressively with Mac Leonard, and here she is, just flips the changeup and it just freezes Mac. You can see her front foot kind of dwindles a little bit there and almost like a little bit antsy and just can't pull the trigger. Beautiful pitch by Absol.
Kaylee Harding now up with 2 gone in the bottom of the first. Absol with the first pitch strike.
Yeah, Kaylee Harding's another young one that has been such a high contributor early on in this season. Only a sophomore, but just so much maturity out in the outfield and in the box.
And that's a sophomore.
Only
Are you sure about the maturity, or does that just speak to the culture built by Coach Up?
I think it's everything. I mean, you see these girls come in here, and it's almost like they're just eating it up, right? Like, Coach is one of the best coaches, best people that I've ever known in my whole life, and you just want to please her. And I think that that says so much about her, and these girls come in here and want to be a part of that. And I think that, in turn, it says so much about them. It says so much about their teammates.
Of course, Harding with the walk-off hit against UCLA Sunday night in that extra innings thriller. 1-2 pitch, foul back.
That was another game. I was on my couch watching on Sunday night, and I was just standing like a crazy person yelling in the, presence of my own home. Right there you have Coach, just one of the best coaches in the game. I mean, so successful to, say the least, and then just what a phenomenal person. I love her.
Even after losing, what, 5
her.
starters, how can a team come back this well? And that is what all of her players, like you've said, is they look up to her. There's that expectation of wanting to make her proud. And she does expect a lot out of her athletes.
Absolutely.
But it's that relationship with the players, too, that they understand we need to be at a high level and not have excuses despite losing a lot of talent from last year's team.
Absolutely. She just makes you want to rise to the occasion. And like I said, I think that says so much about her and the staff that she has around her every single year.
Count full again. A payoff pitch. Knock it down the line to third. Absol will deliver her 20th pitch of the inning, but is yet to surrender a runner.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're starting to see her getting a little bit of a groove. She's attacking the zone. She's throwing, quite a few balls, but really just her calmness in the circle right now is really impressing me, going against a competitive Florida State lineup.
Inside as half of Hofstra's team started to walk towards the dugout. Instead, it's a walk with 2 outs.
Another changeup on a 2-strike count, and just see this pitch from Absol. I mean, she places it so beautifully, and that's the hard part about being a lefty. That ball is going to cross the zone at some point, but really good take by Harding.
Harding aboard on first. Michaela Edenfield certainly packs a punch in the batter's box. The pride of Sneeds sees the first pitch and hammers it to left field. Forget about it. Right on cue, Michaela Edenfield drops the jaws of those at Joanne Graff Field.
Area 51.
Michaela Edenfield is so strong, something down and in on the zone, and she just comes unglued. That is right into her swing path, and that's what you're going to see so much more of this season. Edenfield is so good.
Gotta watch your windows.
I mean, I can't even help but laugh just at her pure strength. I love the little routine right now that she's got going with Troy. Just rubbing the top of his head. I think it's hilarious.
It's always spectacular to watch. It is hard to believe she's just a freshman. Now Dev Flaherty in there for the Seminoles. How do you follow up that?
By doing what Dev does, and she just is going to be a base hit assassin. I mean, she is so calm in the box and just allows her bat head to get through the ball. And, you know, she's not going to have the most power in the lineup. Only 5 doubles so far. Well, actually, that's pretty good, but 5 doubles so far, but no extra base hit power beyond that. And, I mean, she's just going to poke the ball, find holes, and do what she does. And I think that that's what makes her so good.
Swing and a miss for strike 2. Now, you do understand, not everybody can hit doubles so easily.
Hey, doubles are my favorite.
Apsell trying to bounce back after giving up the 2-run bomb to Edenfield. This one popped up and over our heads at the press box.
I think it says a lot about Apsell right now. Again, just a young arm in the circle, and to come back and go right at the next hitter after a home run on that last batter, and just really is going to say a lot about her maturity and her composure in the circle, and as she's going to continue to work towards just beating these Florida State hitters.
Chopper hit to second, picked up, and not thrown over in time by Collins. Another bang-bang play. Remember, Hofstra almost retired Florida State in order. Instead, a walk on a full count sends Harding to first, and that next pitch to Edenfield is the difference at the moment.
Absolutely. Walks are so tough in that because it's kind of just, again, it's that free base, right? But so often, statistically, walks are going to score.
Well, here's a double machine in Sydney Sherrill. And right on cue, Dev Flaherty steals seconds.
We're going to see a lot of base running today. That's something that Florida State's always done so well on, is just their aggressiveness on the base path, and that's something that they take a lot of pride in as a team.
Flaherty in scoring position. And now faces a 2-0 count. Strike there to get back. Next pitch already number 30 for Hofstra start.
That's a tough call on Sid Sherrill. Somebody that is so good in the box, has such a good eye, led the team in walks last year, and so patient and just a really solid hitter.
Outside ball 3. How can a hitter like Sherrill capitalize at this count?
Just getting something around the zone. Again, not trying to force it. Let Apsell come to her because she's going to. Right now, she's got to throw a strike near the zone.
Cannot do it there. Even after the stolen base, the Seminoles have runners on first and second, doing all of their damage with 2 outs.
Now batting number 1, Hallie
That's the beauty of
Whittaker.
having just a very senior-heavy team, highly experienced, so patient, isn't going to force it, and is really going to make the other team come to them with what they have to offer.
Saw a quick peek at first-year head coach Adrian Clark. He's one of the best in Hofstra's illustrious history. Phenomenal pitcher in her own right, now taking over her alma mater. 1-1 to count. She said it to us a couple of days ago, Alex, and saying that, yeah, we might take a couple of punches this weekend, but we need to see where we're at. And you only figure that out when you play a couple of Power 5 opponents.
Absolutely, and just getting this young team exposed to all that is, you know, surrounding a highly competitive, high, you know, seniority type team in Florida State, and just really getting these young athletes on Hofstra exposed. And she talked so much just about failure recovery and what it means to fail and move on, and understanding the importance of really moving past failure, because as a team, they know that it's going to come there, so they've got to figure out a way to accept it and move on.
Ground ball hits a third. Throw over to first in time for the third and final out. But the damage done by Michaela Edenfield. Drops a bomb in left field. And the Noles take a 2-0 lead to the second.
Edenfield just unloads on that pitch by Apsell. I mean, beautiful swing right into her swing path and just takes full advantage. Love to see it.
Michaela Edenfield takes her spot behind home. Just must-watch television every time she steps out on the field because, Alex, you do not know what to expect out of this freshman.
No, but just so much poise. I mean, she is so strong and so calm, too. It's so fun to watch. It's such a unique combo, and her ability to really just control the team, the field, her pitcher, I'm a fan.
Her 5th home run of the year. Just as spectacular what she did down in Clearwater. And I want to touch on that because I know you were down there, Thursday, Friday, Saturday last week.
Yeah.
And not only just the atmosphere of that feeling kind of just one-off from Oklahoma City with that much talent in one space, but for her to come out as a freshman and not be intimidated, I guess, what does that say about the mental side of being a phenomenal player?
The atmosphere alone, it's a highly competitive atmosphere, and you go in, and especially being young, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, if you will. You're nervous, you're anxious, and you're just overwhelmed because you feel like there's so many people around you who are so good. And for her to come onto the field, play with so much just confidence and understanding of, hey, it's just a game, and I don't need to make it bigger than it already is. And I think that just says so much about her.
Now settles in behind the dish. Angelina Iopolo leads off. Knocks it back out of play. It's always so cool to see that event, even that UCLA Florida State finale where, look, it was the A-team, Beth Mowens, Amanda Scarborough out there, the whole 7 innings pod. Hit into left field, but quickly under it for the outs. Early Wade Kaser puts away the first out of the second. It was just so cool to see. And how about a regular season softball game competing with the NBA All-Star game?
I mean,
college basketball to put up
100%.
over 600,000 viewers. What does that say about how quickly this sport has grown?
Give the people what they want, and they want to watch college softball. It is so competitive. It is so fast.
Watson, after dealing with a little bit of trouble in that first inning, falling behind 3-0 in the count twice, certainly battled back. That evens up at 1 apiece. What did you like out of her? Because obviously we say Edenfield is a freshman, you could be overwhelmed in that. Well, how about Watson in the circle facing 3 straight top 20 teams?
Absolutely, and that's just the competitive side of her. I think that real competitors rise to the occasion, and they want the moment. Don't get me wrong, they're going to be nervous, they're going to be anxious, and at times you're going to feel like things are going fast, but they bring themselves back to earth and understand that they were made for the moment.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, another one down for Watson, and quickly 2 gone.
Watson is so effective, just a little bit of upspin on these pitches, something on the outer part of the plate. That's what we've seen so much already with that through the first inning. It's just her really attacking the outer half.
Watson above the zone on the first pitch.
Something that makes her so effective in the circle is that she has so much speed and strength behind her pitches that utilizing the outer part of the plate is going to really prevent hitters from being able to get their barrel on the ball effectively because they've got to be really perfect through the zone. It's a little bit easier to get something with a little bit of upward spin when it's coming into the inner half of the plate, but to really drive something on the outer half, you've got to have a really strong top hand and ability to drive through the ball.
Now misses low. Another 3-0 count. Watson facing Madison McKevett. One upstairs. A 4-pitch walk. 2 outs. Surrendered 1 in the top of the first in a similar spot. Did okay there.
And that's what Danielle Watson is going to continue to work on throughout the remainder of the season is you've got a 7-hole hitter in Madison McKevett, and she's hitting 200 on the year. Senior leadership, sure, and experience, but you don't want to walk the 7-hole hitter.
Now the freshman trying to bunt. Ends up putting it back into the nets.
Talking to Coach earlier this week, you mentioned the small ball game quite a bit and how they're going to really utilize the bunt and what that's going to look like and really try to get these hitters on base.
Through the infield into right. First hit of the game for Hofstra comes from the freshman Gianna Iaquinto. Now putting the pressure on Watson, making her third start at home this year. Cruised through those first two matchups. Fifth batter of the inning steps in for the Pride.
Start to see these Hofstra hitters a little bit in motion, going just, you know, a little bit more aggressive at Watson, but also being patient too. So really going after the pitches that are in the zone and allowing her to kind of work herself into deep counts.
When I get a double, I'll do that.
The Seminoles huddling up. It gives a chance for Devin Wasco. Speak with Coach Clark. The senior catcher that provides some stability. Hard to say for a player that has now seen 3 head coaches over the course of her college career. But I know those around the program have spoke to how highly they think of her as a senior and that leader trying to get Hofstra back to where they were winning conference championships year after year, not even a decade ago.
No doubt. Coach Clark just mentioned that Devin Lasco is just such a mainstay in the program. She's a leader for so many around her.
Flares one to second, and a quick move off the bounce from Flaherty gets the Seminoles out of trouble. 2-0 Noles heading to the bottom of the second. Welcome back to Joanne Graff Field. The Seminoles hopped up, dancing around for the first of 4 games over the next 2 days. They settled in here at home after those 5 games against ranked opponents. 5 wins last week down in Clearwater. Again, it's hard for a team that comes in top 10 in the polls despite losing a lot of talent. But even so, not a lot of the experts, so to say, were saying the Noles were going to make it to the Women's College World Series again. Now you almost have to think they are on par with the Oklahomas and Alabamas after being so consistent. And not even that, Alex, winning in a variety of ways.
Absolutely. Consistency is key, and it's more so how often can I get there, and then once I'm there, what can I do? Because I know that when I was at Florida State, our first goal, because nobody in our classes had been to the World Series in so long, like we didn't even know what to do if we got there. And so it's like, you've got to get there, you've got to win there, and then you'll know what it's like.
Experience can be the best teacher, and you could say that for Julia Apsell. Again, did not play a season ago with a sophomore out of Glen Gardner, New Jersey. Has looked unfazed aside from giving up a big hit to Michaela Edenfield.
Apsell's been doing well. She's been holding her own. She's throwing a little bit too many pitches. Her pitch count's a little bit too high right now just to be going in the second inning, but nonetheless aggressive at these hitters. We'll see the last pitch right there. Something that's really tight in the zone. Not a bad pitch on an 0-2 count. Really impressive spot and really good eye by Bethany Keene.
Grounder hit to first. Easy put out there for Iapolo. Look, we know Florida State can really put pressure on pitchers. One mistake can quickly spiral into 5 or 6. Like you said, she's had that short memory I think every pitcher needs to have, especially on this stage against a top 5 opponent.
If you're going to succeed on any level in sports, you've got to have a short memory because failure is going to happen, and one of the biggest concepts and most importantly taught concepts is going to be failure recovery and what that looks like.
Blankenship in there. After back-to-back strikes go by. Freshman already getting her 7th start this year. Fouls it back to stay alive. 0-2 with 1 out.
That's what you've got to love about Kocha. You have Blankenship, who's only a freshman, came in and was highly competitive with Josie Muffley, the shortstop from last year. And, you know, Blankenship says, I want your spot, and I'm going to do everything I can to take it. And just the camaraderie and the ability to compete as a team and still stay loyal is cool.
Flares it behind first in foul territory. Iapolo again records the out for the Pride.
Getting a lot of action over there
Now
at first base.
number 4, Janai Kerr.
Can't just work on your tan out there.
Right.
Even just about everything in the infield so far. See if Apsell can finish this inning unscathed after retiring the first 2 batters of the bottom of the first, and Kerr and Leonard, who's on deck. What do you like about the way she's been mixing things up now, seeing this order for a second time?
She's doing a great job utilizing all parts of the zone. Beautiful changeup on that last pitch to Kerr, but more than anything, she's pounding the zone inside, and she's throwing pretty firm, and then she's going away, and then she's coming back with a changeup. The ability as a young pitcher to utilize all quadrants is super important to your success as you go on throughout the remainder of the year and the season, because it's a long season.
And gets the strikeout to end the inning. The Seminoles go down in order, and a big smile for Apsell.
Apsell, great job on those pitches, just completely keeping these Florida State hitters off balance.
We head to the 3rd on a beautiful day in Tallahassee. Home crowd for the Noles, taking it in from all angles on the grass and the seats. The number 3 team in the country doing well so far. I know you were thinking about the pitch count for Watson, been a little inconsistent, but look, she's gotten the job done with a couple of scoreless innings to start.
Absolutely. Danielle Watson's doing a good job keeping these Hofstra hitters off balance, but more than anything, look at the smiles right there in the circle. I love to see it. They're having a great time playing a game that all of us love, and what more could you ask for?
I
know one of the best things I heard from Coach yesterday was saying, you know, we like to promote that environment where I don't want to know if you went 0 for 4 or 4 for 4. Pitched 6 scoreless or gave up 6 in 1 inning.
Yep. Don't wear it, right? Don't wear it, because all you're doing is affecting everyone around you. You just want to be there for the team, and some days are going to be your day and some days it's not. And you've just got to figure it out, and you've got to be able to be the best teammate possible when it's not your day, as well as when it is, right? You want to be the hero.
Mantos smacks it to left, backing up and making the catch is Waycaser for the first out of the 3rd. But it goes to show you, and even speaking more specifically of Watson, right? If you're somebody who transfers into Florida State, you're behind a couple of aces, and including Miss USA, Catherine Sandercock.
Yeah.
You know, you can hang your head there, but she's been asked to do a lot now, making her 6th start of the season already, and she has delivered.
Absolutely. She's competitive, and that's what we're going to see this entire time. I mean, you want somebody that wants the ball. They know that they're not going to get it every single game, every single pitch and inning, but at the same time, you want them in the hip pocket of whoever is in the circle, and that's what Kocha does so well with these pitchers, is bringing them together.
Slapper hit to short, a rifle over to first. Blankenship with another strong defensive play. What impressed you most when you saw Watson in person? Like, did you expect her to make this kind of jump heading into her senior year?
No, I'm just going to be honest, no, only because I wasn't really sure of what she was capable of, but I don't get to see her every day at practice. You know, I didn't know what kind of competitor that she was, and her face says so little, so I really didn't know how to read her, and I think that that's a strength from what I see now about her and the way she competes, but really she's just so, like, like stone cold. Like you don't know what she's doing, if she's doing well, if she's not. And I think that that's awesome.
Swing and a miss on a 1-0 pitch to Megan Giordano. Had the walk back in the first inning. Had an RBI double and 3-run home run. All 4 RBI on the year. Came just hours ago. The first game of this doubleheader for the 3 teams out here in Tallahassee this weekend. Good to see the Noles hosting this event with Hofstra and Indiana. More than happy to shed the winter coats, flip-flops and shorts.
Who doesn't love the Florida sunshine?
2-1 tip back.
Giordano looks really zoned in, really just hyper-focused right now against Watson and really trying to pick her pitch. And I think that that just is going to really speak on her readiness and her level of experience that she's had so far. Senior in the box and just somebody that knows what she wants.
Line right back at Watson. Easy money for the senior. 3 scoreless for Watson.
Danielle Watson, so calm right there as Giordano hits the ball right back to her like it's nothing. I love to see it.
Really, Apsell staying out there for the Pride. A team that, like we mentioned, was down outside the Orlando area last weekend. Played 5 games, lost 5 games, but the attitude and the confidence still remains high for a team that's rebuilding in the CAA.
Absolutely. They're ready to go, and I think that more than anything, they want to come out here and just play some good softball. They want to put their best foot forward. They haven't won a lot this season, but what Coach was mentioning earlier this week is that she just wants them to be comfortable as the season goes on, because right now they're just trying to get games and reps under their belt.
That comes with that little bit of pride on your sleeve saying, I want to play Indiana and Florida State. And they played a couple of ASUN opponents last weekend and also lost to Bethune-Cookman and Butler. A team that went 16-16 a year ago and got back into the CAA tournament. Ultimately fell in a couple of games out there as James Madison, the team to win the conference, wound up making a lot of noise in the softball world.
Had a great postseason.
And that comes with, I know, some of that relationship with, not just these 3 programs, but the 3 conferences of the Big Ten, the ACC, the CAA, trying to understand how can we not get to the SEC or Pac-12's level, but say how can we be competitive? How can we create more parity in a sport that is growing exponentially?
Absolutely, and that's what you want. You want an even playing field as much as possible, only because then, like, the draw is even. Like, you really don't know, and I think that's what makes the game so exciting. I don't want to come out here every weekend and kill somebody.
Leonard takes the walk on a full count.
If we're sharing success and we're sharing quality players, everybody's going to get better. And I think that that's the most exciting thing for the sport as a whole is we no longer want these powerhouse teams that just, walk through the season and walk through the World Series and everything else and then become a champion. Like, you want it to be nitty gritty, and that's what makes the fight so much fun.
Another hard hit by Harding. This is off the wall in left field. They wave Leonard home. It's an RBI double for Kaylee Harding.
Kaylee Harding just sits on this pitch. Beautiful swing on the inner part of the plate. Gets her hands extended up in the zone, and the ball just right off the left field wall. McKevitt can't quite keep up with it. Stand-up double, but more than anything, just the 1-2 punch right now that Kaylee Harding and Michaela Edenfield are packing.
Harding with their 2nd double this year, nearly her 3rd home run. Now here's Edenfield. Takes the strike as the Noles capture a 3-0 lead. They got it with 2 outs in the bottom of the first on a first pitch home run from Edenfield.
I would love to know the last time Florida State or any top 5 program had a 3 and 4 hitter that were freshmen and sophomores and doing as well as Kaylee and Michaela are doing.
They might have freshman and sophomore next to their names, but that maturity stands out so well on and off the field.
As a fan of the game, as obviously a fan of Florida State, what I love to see is hitters that are quiet in the box. I don't want somebody that's with so much movement and so showy. Like, I love a silent assassin, if you will. Somebody that just is calm in the box and collected and can swing the bat so well.
I'm going to say that last pitch created contact with Edenfield's arm. The runners aboard, no outs in the bottom of the third.
This is where Florida State gets a little dangerous because they continue to just chip away. They put a couple of good swings together, a couple of good at-bats together, and then at that point it's kind of hard to recover because then they just start to rally and they chip away at runs, and that's when they just put their foot on the gas and continue to go.
Here comes Dev Flaherty, maybe the last batter Apsell wants to see. Pops it up. Lands atop the Hofstra dugout. She has the highest batting average in the starting lineup today for Florida State.
And you can see it just the way that she steps into the box. I mean, she's ready from the very first pitch. And as an opposing team, as an opposing pitcher, that's what puts me on my heels a little bit, is somebody that's ready.
Skies this one towards center, getting underneath and making the basket catch. Hofstra records the first out thanks to Manto stepping up.
Dev Flaherty just still aggressive in the box and trying to put the bat on the ball, trying to get these runners in motion in Harding and Edenfield, but nonetheless just got to find something that she can drive. You know, an opportune situation, an opportune time to hit and make something happen. Got to get something a little bit more down in the zone.
Cheryl takes a first pitch strike.
See Apsell continue to flip that changeup. Effective in most all counts. I think it's only been ball right now, 1 pitch. And other than that, she's so close to the zone on that changeup, and it's just keeping these Florida State hitters just a little off balance.
Of course, Cheryl, I know you were a little upset earlier today when we were talking. Passing the All-American Alex Powers on the all-time RBI list, just jumping you in the top 5. But we should give you some more games to make up for this COVID year.
Hey, I think that would be fair.
Another pop-up for FSU. This time, the shortstop, McKevitz, there for out number 2.
All I'm saying is, if anybody were going to beat me, I'm glad it's Cheryl.
After giving up the RBI double, even after hitting Edenfield, Apsell has bounced back well. Waycaser fouls off the first pitch. Like you said, that's something you have to watch now as Florida State gets near the bottom of the order again. It's just the 3rd inning, and she's about to throw pitch number 66.
Yeah, she's pretty high in pitch count, just unable to really attack the zone early, which is something that I'd really like to see her do a little bit better if she continues to stay in the game, because when you have a good hitting team, you want to go right at them. You want to make them beat you and give them your best stuff, and the more pitches you throw, the more they're going to see the pitch.
1-1 in there for a strike. Apsell trying to get out of trouble. Grounder hit to first, and that'll do it for the 3rd. Florida State adds another run to its lead thanks to Kaylee Harding. Coach Ah coming up next in the 4th.
Windows have been not open since you've been here, kiddo. Got it, yeah. Thank you.
Top of the fourth inning in Tallahassee. Number 3 Florida State on top of Hofstra 3-zip. Excited to bring in Noles head coach Lonnie Alameda. Coach, it's hard to think of more adjectives to describe your star freshman Michaela Edenfield. What did you think of that first inning home run she had?
Yeah, I mean, obviously as a pitching coach, head coach, it's nice to get some runs. But she's a special freshman, right? Like she's just got a lot of tools and you can ride some ups and downs, but a really cool kid and just growing every day she gets out here.
Coach, Danielle Watson throwing a really good game so far. What do you want to see from her for the next couple of innings?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're on our A game right now, but, she's competing. That's the biggest thing, competing and mixing speeds a little bit more right now. So attacking the zone would be a nice adjustment for us to make. We just talked about that in the dugout here beforehand. We go out there, so probably attacking the zone a little bit more and be able to mix speeds a little bit more.
Always appreciate the time, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you all.
I know you've been all smiles since you stepped onto campus
I am
this
so
afternoon.
happy. Honestly, this place brings me happy tears. I was telling somebody earlier, like, I just cry when I get on campus. They're like, why? I was like, because I love it. I love it so much. But
So what do you think of some of that advice we just heard from Coach O?
I think it's something that we've been talking about. You know, Danielle Watson a little bit around the zone, but again, with this Hofstra lineup, I want to see her go right at them every single pitch from the very first pitch to each batter. It's like you speak it into existence, and that's all that we need. Here we go, first pitch of the inning, a strike.
Sam Ward leads off for Hofstra. Now 1-1. It was something funny too, talking with her yesterday, was saying, look, when you're a pitcher, you can't hide.
No,
if you're
absolutely.
a position player,
Oh.
sometimes you're having an off day, you can go 0 for 3 and just move on to the next game. She said, I mean, you're in the circle, that target is literally on your back.
No doubt. And I think that that's the hardest thing. Sometimes it's like it's a look at me moment, and just inherently so. It's not like the pitchers act like that by any means, but when they're struggling, everybody knows it. Everybody that's watching the broadcast knows it. And so it's a very opportune time to have great people around you that can bring you back into the moment and keep you present.
Popped up in foul territory. Even giving chase. Keene watches it fall harmlessly on the tarp.
That's something that we've talked about as teammates and as groups and squads and everything else, is just the ability to look to the people around you and say, hey, I need your help, or I need you to have my back right now because I'm struggling and I'm feeling it, and I need you to step up for me in this moment.
Ward fights it off to avoid being another strikeout victim for Watson. 6th start, trying to get win number 5 already.
K-time! 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 K-time!
Not K-time just yet. So we talked about a little bit with Apsel off air too. Well, now looking at Watson going through this order, now getting near the middle for the second time, what do you want to see her doing, changing things up, or at least staying consistent?
Yeah, so she continues to pound the outside part of the zone and just staying around that area so that these hitters don't make those adjustments. So we saw the first time through the lineup, she was utilizing the up and out part of the plate so much. We saw in this first batter here with Sam Ward, she kind of flipped the changeup, and mind you, it was a ball, but just different looks. And that's what you want to get. You want to have these hitters exposed to all that you have so that they don't really know what's coming.
Hit him with the rise again. 4 strikeouts for Danielle Watson.
We see Watson go right back to that pitch in the upward part of the zone, just something a little bit underneath it on the rise ball, up and out part of the plate again. But if she can continue to let these hitters see something slow, see something inside, they're not going to know what pitch to be on time for, especially when they've got 2 strikes.
Knocked behind the plate. So is this a spot in the game, Alex? A hit for pitchers trying to make some of those adjustments, or maybe working on things they can use in ACC play. Do you want to see her try to add in the changeup more with a 3-0 lead, or do what you do best?
I think you just try to mix it up. I mean, there's a time and a place to go with what you do very well, but I think right now, especially this early in the season, is a time to kind of like work and see what can potentially go well and what you can potentially do, because what you're working on every game matters right now, but you are trying to prepare yourself as best as possible for the remainder of the season.
Iapolo does not go through on the check swing.
I didn't even think she did in the slightest, but maybe that's just me.
Always good to get confirmation going down to Steve Wenner on the third baseline. Well, that's one thing that's at least impressed me from Hofstra's hitters too. I know just the one hit on the board going into this fourth inning, but they have really fought when they have fallen behind in a lot of counts.
Oh, definitely. They're patient in the box, and knowing that Danielle Watson is not necessarily attacking the zone, they've allowed themselves to get deep into counts.
Staying patient too. I can only imagine how you might panic when it's 0-2, 1-2, and you know a 65, 68 mile an hour rise ball is coming in any particular spot.
The tendency is to get a bit jumpy, if I do say so myself, right? Because you don't want to strike out, but that's not how you can approach the at-bat. It's a good battle by Iapolo on this at-bat, just allowing Watson to get deep into the count, deep into the zone, and really just fouling those pitches off. She knows she's going to get something with some upward spin, most likely. That's all Watson's really throwing for a strike right now. And so just being able to eliminate those things. So even if she flips a change, she hasn't thrown it for a strike yet.
The 2-2.
So you asked the question earlier about getting, at-bats under your belt throughout the duration of the game and what you're looking for as a pitcher, but also what you're looking for as a hitter. And as a hitter, I'm trying to eliminate pitches. That's what I'm trying to do, especially when I've got 2 strikes in my count.
Another punch out for Watson. Back-to-back Ks to start the fourth, and she is really cruising with a 3-0 lead.
Danielle Watson continues to utilize the outer part of that plate. That's a beautiful location and just freezes Iapolo on that, who had a good at-bat prior to. You can see she wants to pull the trigger and just can't get herself to do it. That's something else with, as a hitter, facing a pitcher like Watson, you don't want to try to overpower her. She's supplying all of the power. She's got the speed. She's got the spin. You want to get your bat head to the ball as effectively as possible.
Tanzarita immediately falls behind 0-2. Look out back in the second inning. See if she can put it in play. As Hofstra even trailing 3-0. Seems crazy to think, but that 2-run home run from Edenfield almost didn't happen. Harding had a walk with a full count in that next pitch. The difference, another one fouled back.
The young athletes in this game right now just being the difference makers in so many ways. And I love the versatility that they bring to the table and just allowing, their upperclassmen teammates, allowing them to just be who they are and do what they do, which I think is really fun to watch.
Watson misses the plate.
The famous 2-2-2 count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Superstitious.
If only it was February 22nd.
Yeah. Oh, that would be crazy.
Just another one skied into the dugout. All the pride taking cover. There's another lengthy at-bats from these pesky Hofstra hitters.
Yeah, they're battling, and I'm sure Coach Clark is going to be the most proud at just their ability to come in and show up in these moments, because that's what you want, right? They're a young squad. She mentioned that that's what they're working towards, is just improvement every game.
3 strikeouts for Danielle Watson in the fourth. We head to the bottom of the fourth with Coach Clark coming up.
Danielle Watson continues to shine in this circle. Another strikeout in the books, just spinning the ball so well and looking dominant in the circle.
Okay.
We're excited to be joined by first-year head coach Adrian Clark. Coach, you know, like you said, it was going to be a weekend where you learned a lot about your team facing Power 5 programs 4 times in 2 days, specifically looking at your starting pitcher in Julia Apsell. What have you liked in how she's fought back after giving up a couple of big hits?
Yeah, I mean, she's spinning the crap out of the ball right now, and she's really moving it around and utilizing her off speed and keeping them off balance. So she's just out there competing.
Love it. Coach, where do you feel like your team is at right now? Just overall, it's a big game. Florida State successful team. How do you think you guys are measuring up?
Yeah, I think we're in a great spot. I think we're in a position to make something happen here in this game, and we just have to stay on the attack.
Love it.
Coach, hope you like being back in Florida.
I love it.
Thanks
for your time.
Me.
Grew up just outside of Tampa, but she told us about that recruiting visit that ended up swaying her playing for the legendary Coach Edwards, for a team that was 1 win shy of Oklahoma City her junior year in '04.
They say when you know, you know. And if you know where you want to be and you know that it's the place for you, there's no wrong decision.
And that's what's something that, you know, we talked to her for a minute here, but it's so obvious the energy and the confidence and poise she provides for this program.
Yeah, that's what they need. They've experienced so much change throughout so many of their careers. This is the 3rd coaching staff shift in total between head coach, assistants, and what have you. And just her ability to come in and be a consistent person that has been in their shoes is probably a game changer.
As Apsell falls behind 3-0 in the count, and she said our focus, it's so hard to focus after they started 0-4, now 0-5 after falling 8-4 to Indiana earlier today. Keene skips on over to first base. But she said something that really stood out to us the other day is, I don't care if we make mistakes. I want you to go full speed. Just chase that change, because when you hesitate and you lock up, that's just a bad habit to build. If you're going to make a mistake, then just go 100%. We can work with that.
That's all you can ask for as a coach, is that failure recovery, right? And you don't want to be paralyzed by fear.
Ground ball hit to short. Throw over to first is in time. Giordano again with a dazzling defensive play.
That's a good play by Giordano. Nice little soft hit there by Blankenship, and just Giordano's ability to work through the ball and be collected at the point of receiving and then come through, make a solid throw, and get her out at first. I mean, that could be a difference maker in this inning.
Keene on second as the Noles top of the order comes up for a 3rd time. And on the first pitch, Kerr puts it in the opponent's dugout. So if you work Coach Clark, I understand Hofstra still has 2 more games tomorrow, but how long do you leave Apsell in there trailing 3-0?
Well, she's throwing a good game. She's only keeping these Florida State hitters to a minimum of 3 hits right now, which I think is extremely good given what we've seen that they're capable of. And the one that's been the difference maker is the swing by Edenfield, and obviously the long ball that she hit, the 2 runs that she brought in. But other than that, Florida State hasn't done much damage in the box.
Apsell trying to complete 5 innings for the first time in her career, if she can get through this 4th. A shot to right field, but in a diving play made. Keene slips up, rounding 3rd, and appears to come up hobbling and is tagged out. Iaquinto with a Web Gem nominee, sending us to the 5th inning. Florida State on top, 3-0. Gianna Iaquinto, just a freshman, but did not look like this chasing this ball down near the warning track.
Such a good read on that ball out in the outfield, and just completely lays out for it and is present in the moment and makes a phenomenal play.
And this was Keene trying to tag up Just an awkward step on the bag. You just hope it's a little bit of a stinger there on an awkward
that's
landing.
That's tough. You could tell at first I thought she slipped coming around the bag, but now looking at it, it looks like it was just going right into the bag, that she just kind of lost her footing, and I hope that it's nothing serious.
Now Florida State having to make some adjustments. Watson still out there. Commanding performance so far through 4 innings. Heading into the 5th, and what you called a complete game pitcher. And now, just a quick point before you can jump in there, Alex. Mac Leonard will move over to first for the Noles.
Yeah, and that's the great part about the lineup right now of Florida State is the versatility, and you have Mac Leonard, who's a pitcher first baseman, funnels right in seamlessly, no harm, no foul.
Kevin in there with a big swing and a miss to start the 5th inning.
We see Danielle Watson kind of getting back into the zone a little bit more, being more aggressive right at these hitters, starting earlier in the counts with strikes. The last 2 innings, the first pitch of the innings have been strikes, and that's exactly what coaches said she wanted to see.
You said it, these Seminole players want to make Coach happy.
That's what it's all about, right? I've learned in life, if you have a boss that you like, you want to please them, and if you don't have a boss you like, it's hard to want to please them, but that's exactly what Coach is.
A punch out for Watson. 4 consecutive strikeouts for the senior.
Danielle Watson finding her groove so efficiently, just aggressive in the circle, and that's exactly what Coach has said that she would do. She's just a competitor, and that's her strongest, I think, asset and contribution to the team is just her ability to go in there ready to just wear you out, and that's hard as a hitter.
Well, I love when we were talking with Coach preseason a little over a month ago, and her saying, you know, I don't really know what to expect with this pitching staff. It's kind of going to be that trial by fire. We'll know more about us once we get some games under our belt. Watson has stepped in and proved to be that number 2 starter that can really get you through some games.
Yeah, I think that's what makes the staff overall so good, is that they don't come in with a preconceived notion of what they have to do or who they have to be. They just are able to organically figure it out throughout the season.
Uli Quinto did not go through, and a little bit of a hesitation there on that 0-2 pitch.
See Watson starting to really tap into other pitches in her repertoire, and that was something a little bit more off speed that she just flipped in there, keeping the hitters off balance.
One more pitch, all it takes to ring up another K. After struggling at times through that first inning, where she got behind in 2 3-0 counts, I feel like since the start of that second inning, she's put that in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, 8th strikeout on the day right now for Watson, and just really finding that momentum that she needs to power through the next couple of innings.
Going to bunt. Can't put it in play.
Senior Devin Losco here, just one of the mainstays for the program that Coach Clark mentioned earlier, somebody that the rest of the team relies on so heavily in so many different aspects, you know, and we all play on teams where you have a difference maker and just one of those leaders that is so in tune with the rest of the squad. It's really fun to see as a coach and somebody that, you know, wants to make an impact on the program.
Trying to hang in there. Hofstra just 1 hit on the day. Watson has proven to be a formidable foe.
I feel like that's a tongue twister. I can't even say it. Formidable foe.
It's the alliteration.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's impressive. And the puns earlier with Hofstra having the pride and everything else. So.
Nothing but fun on this weekend in Tallahassee. The 0-2 pitch. 6 straight strikeouts. Danielle Watson and the Seminoles cruise into the bottom of the 5th, trying to add onto this 3-0 lead.
Danielle Watson starting this game so impressively, 9 strikeouts so far, ties her career high against NC State previously last season, looking so solid in the circle.
You wondered how she was going to battle back after that first inning, but it goes to show you, right, it's that 0 for 4, 4 for 4, 6 inning, 1 earned, 1 inning, 6 earned. And how about Michaela Edenfield? This freshman is just something else with her 5th home run of the year on that last one.
One of the strongest hitters in the Florida State lineup right now. So impressive in the box, and especially behind the plate too, just commanding Watson so effectively. Overall, like I said, I'm a fan. I really enjoy watching her compete.
I love Jen Schroeder on the 7 Innings podcast on Wednesday giving a big shout out to Michaela Edenfield, because there's so much talent down in Clearwater. It's hard to separate yourself when there are, what, 8 top 25 teams?
Yeah.
She did just that as Mac Leonard leads off Florida State.
Got to give credit where credit is due, right? So when somebody is playing so well, you've got to be able to acknowledge it.
Edenfield's home run, just one of 3 hits for the Seminoles. It feels weird saying that out loud for an offense that hasn't really paused much throughout the year. They have been all gas, no brakes. In foul territory and underneath for the first outs. Kevitt there to make the play.
That's the beauty of being able to hit the long ball, is one pitch could be the difference maker. If you're a team that doesn't hit the ball out of the park consistently or well, it's extremely hard to win low-scoring ball games, because so often one run is the difference, and sometimes it's one swing of the bat.
Harding, who drove in a run for last time up with an RBI double, went off the wall. Amazing to see the youth on this team stepping up in big ways.
See Apsel still flipping that changeup in all counts, and that's what's going to allow her to remain in the game the next couple of innings against this Florida State lineup. Just her ability to work inside, outside, and a little bit off speed just to keep these hitters guessing. It's not to say that they're not going to run into one, but just trying to limit those as much as possible.
Harding rips one to right center field, but chasing it down, Iaquinto again to keep the Noles off the bases.
Phenomenal catches out there by Iaquinto. I love her ability to read the ball immediately off the bat. That's not something you see all the time by right fielders, especially you see it more often in your center fielders, sometimes your left fielders, depending on the beat that they get, but a really good right fielder out there in Iaquinto.
Comes Edenfield with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. This one in the dirt before it makes it home.
See Apsel try to really keep Edenfield off balance here. Not going to give her probably much around the zone. We saw her first at bat. The home run that she hit was a missed curveball over the heart of the plate and just went right into Edenfield's swing.
Edenfield rips one into left field. Now has 2 of the 4 hits for the Seminoles this afternoon.
So much strength in that bat right there. Just especially Apsel as a left-handed pitcher, that ball is going to come into the zone, especially with Edenfield's swing, having it be so strong on the right-handed side of the box. But nonetheless, it's like, I don't even know, it's like bread and butter. It's so smooth, and I love watching her just get a really good beat on these pitches.
The Seminoles now put on a pinch runner for the first time today.
Dion Riggs is really, really fast out there on the base path, and that's something, like I mentioned earlier in the game, Kocha just, and the rest of the staff, I should say, takes a lot of pride in their ability to run the bases. So they're not always going to be the strongest hitting team. They're not always going to be the best pitchers in the circle or the best defense or what have you, but they can run the bases, they can put the ball in play, and they can put pressure on the opposing defense, and that has always been a strength of the Noles.
Sophomore comes on for the 6th time this year. Flaherty swings and misses on the first pitch of her third at bat.
Can you tell how much I love Florida State yet? Is it obvious? Is it apparent? I'm not sure.
I didn't know if you were going to wear garnet and gold today.
I should have. Didn't want to be too obviously biased.
Flaherty smacks one, foul. And Riggs will retreat to first.
Devin is somebody that has a special place in my heart as an athlete. I got to see her get recruited, and when she was younger in high school, she tore ACL, and the rest of the squad went to the bounce house. What is that place called? Like the trampoline, you know, building and things
we
like
get
that.
the gist.
Yeah. Well, Devin, Jessica Burrows, and I were not allowed to go, so we went to a volleyball game because I had just obviously torn my ACLs. Jessica was just a little bit klutzy and a pitcher, and we couldn't allow for her to get hurt. So we had a great time.
Flaherty with a shot to center, backing up, and on the warning track, Manto ends the fifth. A season-high 5 innings for Apsell. We hit the 6th with Hofstra trying to add some offense to the good pitching. Watson and Apsell, both starters in the circle today. Pretty good job, but it is the Seminoles thanks to Edenfield and Harding with a 3-0 lead in the first of 2 games today for the Seminoles. All 3 teams here in Tallahassee will run it back tomorrow. First pitch at 1:30 between these 2 teams, and we'll have the second game of our doubleheader at 3:30 or 30 minutes following the conclusion of our first game. What's so exciting about this environment where you know it's a little bit different than Clearwater of, okay, we get to see the same team twice in 2 days?
Yeah, I think the ability to make adjustments, go into a game fully prepared, because you're not only going to play every team once, and you get multiple chances to see how good can I be at making the necessary adjustments to succeed. And I think that that alone says a lot about athletes, because we're so used to only having one chance, or maybe in one game, right, a couple chances, but nonetheless, time over time. And that's what's so adversely interesting, if you will, about the pitchers, because they get to see the same batters over and over and over, and how good can they be? And as a hitter, how good can I be and master my craft?
Top of the order, back up for the Pride. Manto squares. Can't make contact yet. Kyla Presti now back behind home plate to replace Edenfield. So if you're Coach what do you look for when you make some of these subs late in games?
Exposing my athletes to opportunities. And I think that that's what she does so well, is reading moments in the games to better equip the team so that when their number's called, it's not their first time, right? They've been there before, they've had their moments, and then they can shine.
Trying to make contact, and this for Manto.
And Kaya's a junior, and she hasn't really had the ability to be the consistent starter yet. So I think for her to continually come in, you know, last year she was behind Anna Shellnut. This year a little bit Edenfield behind the plate, who's obviously a young freshman, right, comes in and is just immediate starter. And her ability to be a good teammate, to help lead the youngsters, to help support the senior vet and Anna Shellnut last year, I think that that says a lot about her as a teammate.
Watson upstairs as the count goes full. Looking for another K. And add to what might be a career day by the end of the afternoon.
I'm feeling it. I think it's going to come. I really hope so. Those moments are fun in an athlete's career, and just being able to witness, you know, the level of greatness and the improvements that are continually made throughout the duration of the grind, I think they're really special.
Bellevi now in left to replace Waycaser. Chopper hit back to Watson, and a fastball to first. So you get the out one way or another if you're Danielle Watson.
something that coaches stresses extremely high is just the PFP, pitcher's fielding practice, the ability to field your position effectively, be an athlete, and make plays for yourself. She threw a bullet over there to first base.
I'm telling you, I'd be scared if I was over there at first, but I guess Mac Leonard is a seasoned pro by now.
I've had a few pitchers knock me on my heels with some throws over to first, not in a good way. That was solid. And that's, I think, something, too, you see with Kat Sandercock, you see with Danielle Watson, Emma Wilson, and all the rest of the staff is just so much composure in the circle and their ability to just remain calm when pulls are hit back to them.
Lanto is going full speed over to first. At least Watson showing off her all-around game today, not just letting the other 7 on the field watch as she plays pitch and catch with, what, 7 straight strikeouts or 6?
Exactly. She said, I can do it all. Watch me. You guys think you can field. I've got this.
Surrendered just 1 hit this afternoon. Down the left field line, Belvi can't get there in time. Still, the count goes to 1-2. Danielle Watson making yet another start. Has yet to give up a run here at home in her 3rd start at Joanne Graff Field. This is outside there. Already 87 pitches in. Right back to Watson through the infield, but throw over in time. Seminoles staying sharp with Flaherty now retiring.
That's good defensive positioning right there. The last couple of pitches, you saw Bellevue over there in left field shaded towards the line. Right there you saw Devin Flaherty shaded at the middle. Kocha does a great job on the defensive side of scouting these offensive hitters and knowing their tendencies and knowing what they're going to do, but also in conjunction with that is the pitchers in the circle and what they're capable of.
I know she had some bounce there in the infield to react. The deflection off Watson.
Yeah, no doubt, but that's what you play for. You practice that so often, you know, every single day in practice, and really understanding tendencies, hitters, what they're capable of, you know, depending on what the pitcher's throwing. And that's just the educational side that Florida State coaching staff takes so much pride in. You know, Travis and Troy and Kaylee Rafter and everyone else, like, they harp so heavily on like the smarts of the game. And if you look at Florida State's core values, smart is one of their core values, and really understanding the why as to what's really happening.
I guess Flaherty can't bounce on the trampolines, but at least can react
But
there.
she can move a little bit, yeah.
I was trying to sneak that one by you there. I didn't know if you caught that.
Over my head, I guess, yeah.
They're in the Seminoles watching on with 2 outs in the top of the 6th. We'll play about 30 minutes following the conclusion of this one and face Indiana. Very interesting team that's also dealing with losing a lot of their core starters from last year. Heading with some confidence after dropping Hofstra 8-4. Watson gives up her 3rd walk of the day.
See Watson trying to tap into other pitches. You know, she flipped that changeup, which I thought was a really good pitch. Could have been strike 3 in my opinion, or strike 2, I guess, on the last batter. But nonetheless, she's going inside now. She's still working outside on the upper parts of the quadrants and the hitting zone, but nonetheless trying to give these hitters different looks.
Pop up over to the 3rd base side, and Cheryl takes care of business. Another scoreless inning. The Noles 3 outs away from taking care of business, but first, the bottom half of the 6th. An incredible pitching performance once again from Danielle Watson. An Edenfield home run in the bottom of the first with 2 outs. A Harding double in the third. Has the Noles on top and trying to get to 12-0 on the season. And look, this is something I'll bring up with you and see how you feel about it, because talking with Coach yesterday, you know, after the Seminoles beat Florida A&M on Wednesday, they won 8-3, but that final score doesn't tell you how close that game was. The Seminoles needed a 6-run 6th inning in order to avoid the upset bid. But Coach the next day said, yeah, we don't worry about it. We're not disappointed maybe in saying, well, we just beat UCLA in walk-off fashion and we weren't as sharp maybe that next game. She said, winning's hard. Like, I don't know if people understand the marathon of a softball season. When you play, what, a dozen games in 10 days by the end of this weekend, what do you think of sometimes where you think, oh, how is this team not dominated?
Yeah, I think that that's, you know, the easy assumption in moments like this, but it is 1000% true, and that it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. The season is long, and that's something that was always overemphasized as a player, is you can't drop the weekend games. That's not as exciting as maybe the big one that you've been looking forward to, or, you know, back then it was, you know, really mainly the Florida game. Like, you know, you can't look over, you know, the Wednesday night FAMU game or anything else and look past it, because you've still got to be extremely present in those moments.
Cheryl, the hard hit grounder to second. A quick out recorded by Collins to Iapolo.
Hofstra's playing very good defense. You know, a couple great plays in right field by Ian Quinto, and now the diving play right there at second base by Collins. We see she just has a really good beat on this ball, falls to her knees a little bit, able to get back up, throw Cheryl out at first, but just really solid.
First pitch, this one touches the clouds and taken care of in center field by Manto.
Next up, number 20, Kyle Lepreski.
Kyla Presti in the box to replace Bethany Keene, who was injured earlier in the game. And again, though we touched on it a little bit earlier, that's what the coaching staff does so well, is to change the lineup and intermix players that maybe aren't necessarily starters to get them opportunities to expose them throughout the season, so that when their time is called in an extremely big and important moment, they're ready. And they've been there and they've stepped in the box when the pressure's on and everything else. And I think that that's something that this coaching staff does so well.
Elvi goes down on one pitch. As you mentioned, Lepresti coming in for her first at-bat today. How do you try and stay patient when you're going out there and you just want to swing at the first one you see?
Yeah, I think that that's hard as a hitter. You want to come in and be overly aggressive sometimes, especially when you don't necessarily get the at-bats per se as consistently as the people that start every single game, but just still being able to come in and have a little bit of wherewithal and patience in the box.
Fouls it back on a 1-2. If Apsell closed this out for Hofstra, even with the 3 earned she gave up. Impressive performance, to say the least, in her second career start.
Only a sophomore, and so much composure against this Florida State lineup.
Getting near the century mark. It wasn't an easy start. It was, what, a 30-pitch first inning?
Yeah, she threw a lot of pitches early on, just getting really deep into counts unnecessarily. And that's what she's done progressively well and a better job at throughout the duration of the game.
The 2-2 to Lepresti. Sharply hit grounder through the infield into center. And aboard first with 2 gone in the 6th.
Lepresti does a great job just driving that pitch right back up the middle. like to see a hitter come in from, playing, being on the bench and not playing consistently and just have a productive at bat, because it shows how present they are throughout all the rest of the games that maybe they're not necessarily playing, and just the ability to really zone in, pay attention, be present on the bench, in the dugout, whether you're on the field or not, and have still a little bit of a contribution to the team when your number is called.
And now Chloe Culp on for the Seminoles. Presti after her 3rd hit of the season.
Chloe Culp is another hitter that I got to see throughout her recruiting process. So it's fun now to watch her on the stage that, I so patiently feel like I waited for her. And just a highly, renowned recruit, and somebody that was highly sought after, and so much strength in the box. And, somebody else that's battled through injury early on in her career a little bit, well, through COVID and then last year here and there. And so really just trying to find her way into the lineup.
Is it weird for you now when you see some of these kids that were freshmen when you were a senior and you go, oh my gosh,
I feel
this is
so old.
a different kid? No.
I literally was driving up today and I was like, wow, I made my first trip up to Tallahassee 10 years ago now. Like, who am I? I was an 18-year-old, very naive. I'm still naive. Now I'm a 28-year-old naive gal, but come a long way, right? And that's what this program does. It really shapes you.
The other one hits the dirt. Epsel trying to get that 3rd and final out. Carry that goldfish mentality, so to speak. Nails Culp there.
Looked like that one hurt just from her facial expression up here in the box. Woof, that one is sure to scare you a little bit right when it's coming at your face. Good job by Culp. You see she just, she should have probably turned her back in her head a little bit more, but it is a really hard pitch to recognize as a right-handed hitter, because coming from a lefty, that's just coming right into you. It's almost like you get paralyzed from the inability to move.
Hofstra huddles up. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th, and Culp not going to risk anything. We'll put Blankenship on as a pinch runner.
I think I was the expert. I don't move very well, just ever. But I think that I was an expert of getting out of the way of pitches. I absolutely hate hit by pitches. No thanks. Not my thing.
And I will see another sub come in. Maya Ross will pinch hit for the Seminoles. So that reminder to Blankenship.
Number 12, Amaya Ross.
First, Presti on second.
Running at first base, number 5, Brooke Blankenship.
I know you said it too, where it can be hard when freshmen and sophomores are taking over in the lineup, and they're the mainstays for a 50, 60 game season.
Yeah, it's hard to break the lineup once it starts to kind of work itself out. And I think that, when you are obviously ranked number 3 in the country and you have all these people in, highly successful roles and doing extremely well in the moment, how are you supposed to break it? I don't really know that you are. And so it's really just being a good teammate, being patient with yourself and with others, and knowing that your time is going to come. It's easy to get in selfish mode, and if you as a coaching staff and you as senior leadership and Sid Sherrill and upperclassmen leadership with Dev Flaherty, Kaylee Mudge, what have you, you've just got to, be accepting and communicate with everybody and know that, hey, it's going to happen. We've all been in your shoes and your time's going to come. So work your tail off, and your moment is going to get there before you know it. And when it does, take full advantage.
Ross takes the strike in her 2nd at-bat this year. The freshman from Jacksonville. At the plate, a couple of upperclassmen on the bases. Trying to add to this lead before putting Watson back in the circle. Did not go through on the check, and the bases are now loaded after quick outs to start the 6th.
Coming to the box,
Great
number
take
13,
by Ross on that pitch.
Litter.
Absol throws a good location there, just a little bit down in the zone. It might have looked like Ross wanted to kind of give a little bit of effort on that one and make a swing, but nonetheless, she held back. Got to take her base.
It's kind of funny. Do you ever see that much patience from a freshman?
No.
Or you would just want to let it rip?
Yeah. I mean, normally they're swinging at balls over their head or balls in the dirt, but hey, I mean, we've all been there. I think I still did that as a senior, so it happens, but you love to see it, and that's all that you're really asking for is good, productive at bats. You're not saying, hey, go in there and get a hit. Like, that's, you know, so much out of your control in that, but nonetheless, you just want somebody that's going to recognize pitches, take advantage of their moment, whatever that looks like, even if it's a strikeout, as long as it's a quality at bat with, you know, several pitches, having seen a lot of looks and things of that nature, that's really all that you're encouraging.
Leonard bloops one, and a quick out to Collins. Final chance for Hofstra to make the comeback attempts as they trail 3-0 heading to the 7th. Danielle Watson started hot early and has not cooled off.
She is spinning the ball so well, just keeping the ball so effectively on the outer part of the plate with a little bit of upward spin, keeping these Hofstra hitters really off balance, unable to make solid contact. Only one hit on the day so far, 9 strikeouts, extremely efficient in the circle.
Watson 1 strikeout away from setting a new career high. It's 1 hit allowed. This is her 3rd start at home this year, Alex, and she has still not surrendered a run.
She is competitive, and I think that that's what you want when you're a defender around her, is somebody that's going to go in the circle just full on, I mean, ready to rumble. I don't know how else to say it. Like, she is coming at your face, and it doesn't matter who you are. I love it.
I know it's hard to be upstaged by the National Pitcher of the Week, Catherine Sandercock, but Watson looking good in her own right. Coach Clark and the Pride, if they can't make the comeback here in the top of the 7th, they'll go back to the hotel, gear up for 2 more games tomorrow in what expects to be another beautiful Saturday and fun Saturday out here at Joanne Graff Field. But that's the cool thing you like to see from them too, is Hofstra's been all smiles, because apart from maybe 4 or 5 pitches, this game's been about even.
As they should be. They should be extremely proud to have come out here today against a number 3 ranked national team and put on a show. I mean, they've only allowed 5 hits, 2 obviously from Edenfield, who is just absolutely on fire and unstoppable at this point. But Coach Clark should be extremely proud of her squad. They've come out here, they've competed, they've showed up, and they've played with a lot of maturity as a really young team.
Blankenship runs down a little bloop in the infield.
And hitting number 55, Brianna Morris.
Brianna Morris, a sophomore, coming in as a pinch hitter. Doesn't matter who's been up there for the Pride today. Tough to make any sort of contact.
Yeah, you see so many of the hitters just swing right through those pitches that Watson's throwing with a little bit of that upward spin that we've touched on so heavily. She does it so well, and you know, for somebody that could miss and miss bad over the heart of the plate, she keeps the ball up and she keeps the ball off the plate so well, which is really, at this point, I think her biggest successor.
Watson going for her first complete game of the year. Just off to even the count.
I'd really love to see her get number 10 on this pinch hitter who hasn't seen her yet today. It's a great opportunity for her to capitalize on just the lack of looks that Brianna Morse has gotten.
Morse 1 of 6 on the year. Just below the knee to bring the count full as Watson hits the century mark. Payoff pitch. High for ball 4. Fourth walk from Watson today, just the 5th base runner.
And that's what
for
Coach
Hofstra.
was referring to earlier, just in that interview that we had earlier in the game a couple innings ago, just the ability for Watson to minimize the amount of pitches, especially in an opportunity against Morse, who is a pinch hitter on the day, had not seen her yet, and just go right at her. There's nothing to fear. And you've just got to lay it out on the line and say, hey, here's my best stuff. I want to see you hit it, because chances are it's not going to happen. We've seen the stats and that what Watson can do, and she just has to be comfortable in that.
Kayla Wilson now on as a pinch runner at first, and the sophomore takes a big leap forward on the first pitch to McKevitt.
That's the good thing, too, about seeing a catcher behind the plate that's a little bit older with Kyla Presti, just more experience, saying, hey, like, just slow down. You know, probably, I mean, I could guarantee you that that conversation was so lighthearted and that, hey, here we go, like, you know, nothing to stress, or, you know, just the ability that they're out here having fun and doing what they all love to do. They work so hard for these moments, and let's just finish this game.
Rolls 2 outs away. Strike zone tightening up for Watson. Kevitt, one of those 4 walks today. Good swing and a miss to get a strike.
That's where Watson is most effective, just on the outer part of that plate. I mean, we've seen her trying to mix it up a little bit, flipping an off-speed pitch in there every so often, working the inner part of the plate too, but her most effective pitch is that outside pitch.
Now a called strike. Watson trying to settle down here. It's hard to think, but even in a 3-0 ball game where Hofstra's had 1 hit, as you know, 1 swing of the bat can sometimes just be a little bit of juice you need.
And that's what you play for, is the one big pitch that could change everything.
Above the zone, and now a full count again for Watson.
Seems like Danielle is getting just a little bit overexcited, if you will. Just needs to slow herself down and go right at these hitters. She's almost trying to overpower it, just a little bit too much.
And now a new career high 10 strikeouts for Danielle Watson.
And that's what we've been waiting for. Really good pitch on that last one to McKevitt. Just something, again, with a little bit of upspin on the outer part of the plate. McKevitt swings right through that. And as a hitter, it's so hard to get your bat barrel on that pitch, just knowing its upward trajectory. And you've got to be perfect with a really strong top hand.
Presti goes low to save that one on first pitch. Gianna Iaquinto kept a run or 2 off the board for Florida State with an incredible play out in right field. As the only hit for the Pride today.
We even see the Florida State defense not really having to do much work, not even because of the amount of strikeouts. I mean, that absolutely helps, but really just the results that are so often had against Danielle Watson. A lot of fly balls because of where she's really attacking the zone on that upper and outer part of the plate. You have just a lot of weak fly balls that are the result.
Fouled off into the FSU dugout. Watson trying to take care of business for the final out and secure the Seminoles' 12th straight win to start the season. Foul back above the press box.
See that line of sun and shade on the field right there. It gets pretty brutal at this time of the day, right around that 3 o'clock, 3:30 to 5 o'clock time frame. I mean, as a defender, I'm not gonna lie, especially on the right side, it is pretty brutal out there in the field. So if Danielle Watson can just get a last batter strikeout right here, that'd be pretty clutch.
Watson delivers. And got her on the check swing. A career day for Danielle Watson, throwing her first complete game of the year. And the Seminoles do it with their defense in the first of 2 today. The pitching and fielding on point in a shutout win over the Pride.
Your Florida State Seminoles will begin in approximately 30 minutes.
Danielle Watson looked really good in the circle, as well as the rest of the Florida State team. Just overall, I mean, again, not a whole lot of action, but nonetheless, just very composed, very calm. I think I've said it a lot today. Just their maturity on the field in so many ways. It's really fun to watch as a fan.
And that's what's so much fun too, is maybe making it a more dangerous team when you can win in more than 1 or 2 ways. Sometimes it is grinding it out like they did in a 2-1 win over Michigan, where Watson had 6 innings and picked up the win there. Maybe the offense explodes for 8 or 10 runs. It is fun to watch this team, and they always keep you on your heels because you never know what style they might do to win on this particular day.
Yep, and that's exactly what good quality ball clubs do, is they find a way to win no matter what it looks like. And I think that all the way around, they're coached well, they're competitive athletes, and they know what they want to accomplish.
So we are about 30 minutes away from the start of our next game as Florida State heads back to the dugouts, and they will run it back against the Indiana Hoosiers. Before we sign off, we got to talk to, well, maybe the most explosive, most exciting player, Michaela Edenfield, joining us after hitting what was the game-winning 2-run home run in the bottom of the first inning. Michaela, you continue to wow everybody in softball with what you do at the plate. Can you take us through what you saw on that at-bat?
Yeah, for sure. Good question. I think I was just worried about like staying to my game. Last game wasn't so much. We work a lot here, just staying in our own like at-bats, and I was just looking for something hard. She throws a changeup, and we just really wanted that pitch right there.
Michaela, what are you most proud of right now with your entire team, whether it's something that you're doing, something your pitchers are doing, your defense? What does that look like for you?
I'm just really glad that the team is really staying in sync here, like no matter what, no matter if there's an error being made, like we're all here and we're connected and we're just sticking up for one another. Just that's a huge part of our culture here, and we're living by it.
All right, we know you got to run it back in about 25 minutes now. Thanks for taking the time to join us, Michaela.
No, thank you so much.
3-0, Florida State wins it over Hofstra. Still to come, though, the Indiana Hoosiers back on the field. We will see if Florida State can make it 13-0 to start the year. For my partner Alex Powers and the rest of our Seminole Productions crew, this is Sean Salisbury signing off for now.